This is why you don't create a safe space for racists. So Laura Loomer decided to go on the internet and call Jasmine Crockett a ghetto black B-word. So Laura was upset that Jasmine Crockett called it what it is. He said watching her colleagues side with a bigot and a racist was disheartening. So Laura Loomer used her jigsaw face to go ahead and call Jasmine Crockett outside her name. And then she tried to use a misrepresentation of AAVE using words like funna and mind you, she was using it wrong. She obviously doesn't understand the vernacular enough to even use it. She was just using it to be disrespectful. But this is what I'm talking about. These racist people have no space in our society. All they do is block progress and talk about bathrooms. And for all 95 Democrats that signed to get Charlie Kirk a holiday, are your Republican buddies gonna sign to make sure that the Epstein list is released? Or were you just used as a pawn for their game?
Laura Loomer called Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett a ghetto black bee. You know what I mean? And that's pure racism, plain and simple. And the internet didn't let her slide, for your information. People came in hot because this wasn't just some random insult. This was an attack loaded with history. Now, let's pause for a second. For those who don't know, Jasmine Crockett isn't just any politician. She's a congresswoman from Texas, a lawyer by training, and one of the sharpest voices we've seen rise in the House. And she's not afraid to stand her ground, and that is exactly what makes her a target. And instead of debating her policies, Loomer went for the cheap shot, and you can already guess how that played out online. So let's take a look.
I know Lauren Loomer just says out loud what they all think in their head, right? Like, they all feel that way about Jasmine Crockett. They all feel that way about all of us. You know what I mean? Like, but they reward Lauren Loomer because she is their id. She is the most guttural, visceral, reptilian part of them. And they love the fact that she has the balls to say out loud what they wouldn't dare to say. It would be a huge mistake to think that she stands alone or that's just her opinion. It's not. Like, she is not smart at all, but she's smart enough to read the room. She's smart enough to articulate the sentiments of a broader coalition. And she knows she will be continued to be rewarded for being able or willing or having the balls to say what they won't or can't. But, you know, I prefer it. I prefer that brand of racism, right? Like, I'd rather you be upfront and real and tell me how you really feel so we can deal with it, right? Like, we can deal with it rhetorically, intellectually, or we can deal with it, you know, how we need to deal with it if you see us in person. On the other hand, we have people like the late CK or Ben Shapiro who like to dress their racism up in, like, rhetorical gymnastics or try to lose people in semantics and dress it up. But no, like, tell me how you really feel so we can deal with it when we need to deal with it.
I learned something interesting today. So I was like, who's this woman coming after Jasmine Crockett calling her all these names? So I looked up Laura Loomer and I'm like, who's this 45, 50-year-old woman coming at Jasmine Crockett? Unbeknownst to me, Laura Loomer is 32 years old. Girl, you over here aging like milk. Aging like a banana. And we saw those before pictures. Yikes. Them after pictures, them current pictures, you look like Jigsaw. Get on your tricycle and ride around and stop worrying about Jasmine Crockett. Then I'm like, you picking on Jasmine Crockett who's got everything going for her. She's like in her mid-30s, you know, doing her thing. I find out Jasmine Crockett is 44 years old. So you mean to tell me that Laura Loomer is 12 years younger than Jasmine Crockett, but looks 20 years older than her? Yikes. Guess we know why you're really mad. And then Tangerine gonna chime and talk about something she has a low IQ. Sir, say the word acetaminophen. Matter of fact, spell it. I'll wait.
People are fed up, and I know some of you watching this probably feel the same way. Anytime a black woman shows confidence or authority, she gets labeled as angry, ghetto, whatever word they think will cut her down. But here's the thing, it doesn't work anymore. People are sitting silent, they're clapping back instantly. Now let's talk about Loomer for a second. This isn't new for her. She's built her whole brand on being outrageous, on saying the things she knows will spark headlines. She's been banned from platforms for hate speech. She's tried to run for office and sadly lost. And still here she is trying to stay relevant by attacking women of color in power. Well, that's just her playbook. But here's where it backfires. Crockett is actually in Washington doing the work. She's drafting legislations, sitting in hearings, making her voice heard. While Loomer, she's tweeting for probably attention. And people online were quick to point that out. And this is not just about Crockett. Well, Charlie Shee-Hall got called unfit when she became the first black woman in Congress. Maxine Waters has been called angry her entire career, even when she's simply telling the truth. It's the same language recycled over and over, but now it doesn't land the same. Social media gives people the power to push back immediately, and that is why the reactions we are seeing are so strong.
Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer. Is everything okay? No, for real. Is everything okay? Because there's no way you look the way that you look, but have the audacity, let alone the courage, to talk about anyone, let alone the Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett, who happens to be 12 years older than you. This strong face, duck lip sloth nose ass heifer had the audacity to call a black woman, specifically Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a ghetto black, simply because she didn't like her remarks. Laura, I want you to keep that same energy when you see Congresswoman face to face. I want you to keep that same energy when you see the people face to face. Because we're from that generation where if you nut, we buck. And I had some time on my hands. So I was able to pull up a photo of what Laura Loomer looked like before she had all the cosmetic surgery. You know, all the surgery that she's having because she wants to emulate the features of a black woman. You actually looked better back then. Now you look like a purged jigsaw face, pick-me-ass. Somebody tell Trump's mistress that we are about this life and she doesn't want this smoke.
When is MAGA going to stop this? When is MAGA going to stop this? When are we going to ever leave this area of just nasty, nasty politics? Or this is the new normal? Jasmine Crockett is an established attorney, an established congresswoman, and has given and continue to give to so many people. Now, I know you may not like someone or maybe pissed off or triggered by something they say, but why do we get on social media and feel like we can just say anything we want to? Call this woman a black bee. And then goes further, and then just the way she put it, know that we have ghetto black bees who hate America serving in Congress? Well, if you look deeper at that, what does that really mean?
Now, Loomer's insult didn't silence Jasmine Crockett. If anything, it made her voice louder. It made more people rally around her. And that word Ghetto, let's be real, that word has never been harmless. I remember growing up and hearing it thrown around like casual slang. Back then, it almost sounded normal. But once you understand it, you realize it's coded, it's targeted, and it's almost always used to demean black people, especially women. And that's why this pushback matters. It's not just about defending one congresswoman. It's about shutting down the language that has been used for generations to hold people back. Now, let me bring you into this conversation because I want to hear from you. Do you think people like Laura Loomer should just be ignored so they don't feed off their attention? Or is it necessary to call them out every single time they cross the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I know this one is going to spark real debate. And if you're here for conversations that go beyond the headlines, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe because I'm not just talking about the news, I'm unpacking what it really means. This is Trending Pulse Worldwide, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.